Now joining the Believe in NFL Draft Prospect podcast, we got Mr. Steve Avila, who is a star offensive lineman out of TCU, 2023 NFL Draft Prospect. Obviously, it has been the ringer for Steve over the last few months. He has won a playoff game in college football. He's played in a national championship game. He's, participated in the Reese Senior Bowl. He's been in the NFL scouting combine, and now he's digging into those team meetings. So it's clear sailing, sort of, to the end of April to the 2023 NFL Draft. Steve, I appreciate you for joining me today, man. Again, I know it's been super busy, brother, but thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. So, Steve, I really want to harp in on a little bit of your career, of course, but talk about this magical last season, obviously, at TCU, because I know that you guys had obviously some ups and downs, from a win-loss perspective under Coach Patterson the last couple of years. But with Coach Dykes coming in, man, really feel like you guys just kind of like all the stars aligned this year. You go to the Big 12 championship game, you make it to the national championship game. Just how magical was this final season for you, man? Especially after, a couple 5-7 records and ended the career off, I feel like, on the best note that you possibly could have hoped for.
Yeah. It was an amazing experience. I still can't even grasp, and I tell everybody this all the time, I can't even grasp that we had that season. And a lot of the guys feel the same way, but man, it was just awesome to see just how things changed, because I was here for 4 years prior to this year.
Yep.
And just witnessing the change that happened at TCU mentally, which was a big thing for the players, that can credit to why we had a good season. And it was just awesome to see, man. It was awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, Steve, my biggest question is, and this is, more focusing on what Coach Dykes did this year, right? Because obviously I think that he's got TCU in a great place, and you guys left TCU off on obviously on a great footing kind of moving forward. But what was it about Coach Dykes in year one that really meshed with you guys? Because I know you guys were a senior laden team. I'll get into it. You guys had 9 players at the combine, so it's not like there wasn't any talent there, right? But what was it about Coach Dykes that really, I guess, hit this year, that made a lot of sense from a fit perspective?
Yeah. So when they first brought in the SMU staff, we kind of had a sour taste in our mouth, because they're somewhat of our rivals.
Sure.
But, after a while, we started to see what he was about. He was very invested in us and wanted us to be better players and people. And as soon as we saw that, man, we all started pouring in and just things started changing like that. And it was just, you had to be there, to fully understand
Sure.
how that season went and what caused, everything. So, yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. And I always fight back on some things, Steve, because some people were like, oh, Sonny Dykes, it was just the magic. And I'm like, they had a lot of talent there, man. Like, I go back to 9 players at the scouting combine this year,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you guys had a senior laden team, obviously Max Duggan, and I know Kendry Miller came out as a junior, so he's not in that senior class of you guys, but Dylan Horton, and there's a lot of dudes, Hodges Tomlinson, like a lot of guys that were obviously at the combine. Can you talk to me a little bit about, even through maybe some trials and tribulations and some ups and downs during your career, this senior class that you guys had, I think it really withstood, a lot of adversity and came out on the other side, man. I feel like that group's really special.
Yeah. Dude, we've been through a lot just as a program. And a lot of the guys that stayed, there's a lot of guys that could have graduated and moved on, but they ended up staying another year. And it's just, when I look back at a lot of stuff the program went through and just see how much we overcame, it's honestly inspiring. But, we knew that we went through the stuff together, and that just gave us another reason to want to win. So
before we continue on with this video, I just want to tell you folks about an exciting new partnership that we have with this channel with Underdog Fantasy. Ever since I joined, I've been having so much fun. There are so many different exciting games that make watching games during the offseason more exciting. I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but it has made it way more entertaining since I found Underdog Fantasy. And my favorite game to play so far, which I think you should try out, is Pick'em. It is so easy to play. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em slip, get every pick right, and take home some cold hard cash. Use code HACK, H-A-C-K, HACK, like the name of this channel. Use code HACK to get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. Go sign up. You won't regret it. You're going to have a blast. Check out Underdog Fantasy. I also want to tell you folks about our other reoccurring sponsor that we have on this channel, that being BetOnline, betonline.ag, which is all the updated odds, news, and anything for sports betting. It's my go-to source for when I want to be betting specifically on games. I love betting on college basketball or the NBA, especially, again, during the offseason. Always looking for more fun ways to be focused in on some of these other sports. It's betonline.ag and use promo code BELIEVE50. It's promo code BELIEVE50 to get 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Yeah. Well, and Steve, you made a little bit of a transition this year. I know you had started a couple games of guard in the past. I think you even started a game at right tackle earlier in your career, if I remember correctly, right? So, but you were a starting center the last 2 years and a really good one, obviously, an all Big 12 selection. And then you make the move to guard this year. I guess my question overall is, I know you had Alan Ali, who's a good center as well, right? That was in the room. So I guess the move just made sense. But what was it like final year making that full transition to guard after playing center for the last couple years?
Yeah, man, I've always been open, to the coaches putting me where they feel like I'm utilized the best. And that's just what happened. I didn't feel any type of way. Alon played center and he knew the offense better than I did. So I just wanted to be utilized. I saw it more as an opportunity. I mean, I didn't really play left guard. So I kind of scratched that off the list. So I learned a lot about myself, playing left guard and just progressing through the season. So worked out.
Man, I know you needed one start at left tackle to literally have a start at every single position in your career, which is pretty wild. But, well, Steve, let me ask you this, because that's actually very important, right? A lot of NFL teams, because, I mean, you're going to be a starting offensive lineman at the next level, like no doubt in my mind about that. But how much value is it to show off that your versatility, to show that, like, hey, I can play both guards, I can play center, I can even play right tackle in a pinch if you need me to. I've shown that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, I tried to, when I was at the Senior Bowl, that was one of my goals, is just to show how versatile I am, not only with what positions I can play, but what schemes I can fit into. A lot of people label me as kind of an inside zone guy, which I believe I am, but I do believe that there are other aspects of my game that are just as good. So just showing off that versatility is a big deal, I guess, for offensive linemen in general. So,
yes. Yeah, I mean, I always tell offensive linemen, man, you need a sticking point, right? And the sticking point is being able to be a swing guy inside or on the an offensive tackle at least. Like, you need that type of versatility. So you have definitely shown that, man. And you actually made a perfect segue into my next question here, because I talked a little bit about the college career, and all that great stuff. But I really want to dive into the draft process. And you mentioned the recent Senior Bowl, where you had a fantastic week, man. I really thought the interior offensive line on your side was fantastic. I mean, you were playing with John Michael Schmitz and Osiris Torrance and those types of dudes right on that side of the teams. What was that experience like overall, man? I know you said that you want to showcase that versatility as far as being able to play different positions, different schemes, but what was that overall experience like for you down in Mobile?
Yeah, I mean, going in, I didn't know what to expect, as with everything in this process, but I feel like being an offensive lineman, it's like a fraternity, man. Like, everywhere you go, you kind of go through the same things, or you have the same situations. So it wasn't hard to meet new people, but it was nice, people from different places. Meet a lot of guys that you're going to see in the league. Meet a lot of guys that I met or saw at the combine. So, but overall, the practices went great. Playing with such a high caliber of players is awesome, and that's only what you're going to get in the NFL. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And how do you feel like you did just overall from a performance perspective, from a day-to-day? Because I think people kind of hyper-focus too much on day one sometimes. And I thought you had a good day one, but it's more about stacking days, good day after good day. How do you feel like just your overall performance was down there?
I feel like I did good. I mean, if I were to grade myself B+, A-, I messed up. A lot of people do. So that's one thing that I've, kind of had to lock in mentally. You're going to mess up. You're going against great players. They're going to make their money too. So,
sure.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like I did pretty well.
And then the next step, man, of course, is that you went up to Indianapolis for the 2023 NFL Scouting Combine. I got the chance to get up there this year. It was really cool, man. I felt like I was a pioneer out there, Steve. I was the first media members to be able to be in the stadium. It was fantastic, man. But that is one thing personally, and I think back to like my time playing and stuff, that like I obviously never got to experience, performing at the combine. And that's been like that was one of those like bucket list things. Like I wanted to be in Indy and see that type of experience. What was that like for you firsthand, man? To be able to compete, but more than anything, I mean, to experience something that I'm sure that you were thinking about for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and it's another one of those things I was saying, man, I haven't really grasped, that I'm in that percentage that, can experience that. But it was a great experience, man. Being in Indy, I've never been there, so that's an experience in itself. But just going through everything was awesome. Just being on the field and doing the workouts, it wasn't really nerve-wracking. It was just more of, I get the chance to do this. So, yeah.
Well, and going back up to Indianapolis, I know like Max Duggan was obviously at the Senior Bowl this year, but like I said, you had 9 guys there, man. What was it like? Because I know there's a weird overlap with positions, so I'm sure maybe you probably didn't get a chance to see everybody down there from the TCU Horned Frogs. But what was it like just maybe to see a couple of your guys again, man, after being separated for a couple months here?
Man, it's been awesome. It's always, nice knowing that you can have someone, to talk to like that, let alone 9 of them there. But without them, people that were part of the team that left, like Zach Evans, I saw him too. There's all love there. People that I met at the Senior Bowl. So you don't really feel alone, in this process. So that's really good.
When was the pro day? Did you already have the pro day?
Mine's tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, yours tomorrow. Oh, I caught you right before the pro day, man. Well, what's the emotions going to be like for you? Because we talked about some of the guys, that you were playing. That's a part of the process, but you get to be back, on campus to see some of your guys that went back to school, the coaches. Like, what's that going to be like for you?
Yeah. So I've kind of already been here. I've been working out here at the post combine. I've been working out at TCU and just coming back. Everybody's with open arms, man. It's like a family here, and that's again one of the things that we noticed when we made that coaching transition. So it's just awesome, being able to walk around and say what's up to the staff members and saying what's up to the players that are playing now. So it's really a place that I can call home, and I genuinely mean that. So yeah.
And what's the plan for the pro day? Because I know you did. I think you did all your testing down in Indy, right? So just field work, that great stuff.
Yeah, just field work. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing, but I'm prepared for it.
I love it, man. So this offseason, I know I'm skipping around a little bit, Steve, but we mentioned obviously training, get ready for everything. But where have you been training this offseason? Who have you been training with? Like, where have you kind of just been perfecting your craft?
Yeah. So January to combine, I was with Duke Manyweather up in Texas. Man, I learned a lot from him. He's a great guy. He loves the game. He loves teaching, man. That's one great thing about him. So post combine, I've been up at TCU, just working on a lot of the things that I need to work on and trying to get ready for tomorrow. So yeah.
Love it, man. And I know obviously there's going to be a lot of team meetings kind of moving forward. If you can disclose, and if you can, it's no big deal. But are there some teams that you have meetings scheduled with, or some that maybe are showing a lot of interest in you right now?
Yeah. Meeting with, I have 5:30 visits with Pittsburgh, Detroit, Dallas, Arizona, and Washington. So that'll take up my April, which is good. I love traveling, seeing these new places. So yeah.
Yeah, man, you'll be all over the place a little bit. Well, Steve, you're a Texas guy though. Is there affinity to the Dallas Cowboys growing up, man?
I mean, yeah, it would be nice. I mean, who wouldn't want to play, where they're from? But at the end of the day, I always look at it as, at least I'm here and this opportunity. And if I don't get picked by them, that's totally fine. I don't feel any type of way. I just want to be on a team. That's all.
Sure.
But it would be cool to be in front of my family and friends. So, yeah.
Well, in the family and friends aspect, I actually wanted to end the podcast on this one, is that you're only a few weeks away now from a potential dream happening. I guess before I ask about the friends and what you'll be doing for draft day, just how long has this been a dream, man? Just kind of looking back on it and, potentially playing professional football, getting drafted to the NFL.
I mean, as a kid, I knew it was, something that I wanted to do, but the vision doesn't really come to you, because you don't know what to expect. And even when I got to college, man, it's just things change like that. Like, I hold myself to such a high standard, and it's almost unbelievable. Like, never lose a rep, never blah, 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 blah. like even at the beginning of this season, it was still sort of cloudy, like, oh, I may get drafted. I don't know. But so that's just how I've been going through this whole process. But, to say that it's coming closer and closer to becoming true is actually crazy. So, yeah.
And then my last question is obviously the support system. I'm sure that you have a great family, great friends. You already mentioned them a little bit, but just kind of living this, well, not living this. Let's rephrase this a little bit better. Being able to experience this with them, for them to be by your side through everything and, to really, get to that next level, right? And to be able to help push you there. Just how much has your support system meant to you? And just kind of looking forward to draft day, man. Where will you be, taking in the event and, enjoying it with the time with the people you love?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a lot of support system, man. I love meeting people. I always hold my relationship super close, and I plan on having everybody, that helped me get to where I'm at my draft day party. So, I'm actually, it's funny because how I said I called TCU home. That's where I'm having a draft party.
Nice.
So, to a lot of people about that. So, I'm glad that's happened. One of the first TCU players to ever do it. So, that would be.
Oh, that's dope, man. So you're gonna have the players there and everything too. So
Yeah.
like we're teammates. That's awesome, man. Oh,
Sure.
Steve, hey, man. Seriously though, brother, I really appreciate your time today. That's fantastic. I'll be rooting for you for draft day, man, and then
Sure.
many years after that. But best of luck on the rest of the process and enjoy the rest of the time, man. I know it's surreal. I know it's busy, but thank you so much for joining the show today.
No problem, man. I appreciate you.